وكلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر، ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل، ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد، تلك حدود الله فلا تقربوها، كذلك يبين الله آياته للناس لعلهم يتقون. ولا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل وتدلوا بها إلى الحكام لتأكلوا فريقا من أموال الناس بالإثم وأنتم تعلمون. يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج، وليس البر بأن تأتوا البيوت من ظهورها ولكن البر من اتقى، وأتوا البيوت من أبوابها، واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لحمده وجعلنا من أهله لنكون لإحسانه من الشاكرين، وليجزينا على ذلك جزاء المحسنين. والحمد لله الذي هبانا بدينه واختصنا بملته وسبلنا في سبل إحسانه لنسلكها بمنه إلى رضوانه، حمدا يتقبله منا ويرضى به عنا. والحمد لله الذي جعل من تلك السبل شهره شهر رمضان، شهر الصيام وشهر الإسلام وشهر الطهور وشهر التمحيص وشهر القيام الذي أنزل فيه القرآن، هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، فأبانا فضيلته على سائر الشهور بما جعل له من الحرمات الموفورة والفضائل المشهورة، فحرم فيه ما أحل في غيره إعظاما، وحجر فيه المطاعم والمشارب إكراما، وجعل له وقتا بينا لا يجيز جل وعز أن يقدم قبلا ولا يقبل أن يؤخر عنه. ثم فضل ليلة واحدة من لياليه على ليالي ألف شهر وسماها ليلة القدر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر، سلام دائم البركة إلى طلوع الفجر، على من يشاء من عباده بما أحكم من قضائه. اللهم صل على محمد وآله، وألهمنا معرفة فضله وإجلال حرمته، والتحفظ مما حضرت فيه، وأعنا على صيامه بكف الجوارح عن معاصيك، واستعمالها فيه بما يرضيك، حتى لا نصغي بأسماعنا إلى لغو، ولا نسرع بأبصارنا إلى لهو، وحتى لا نبسط أيدينا إلى محظور، ولا نخطو بأقدامنا إلى محجور، وحتى لا تعي بطوننا إلا ما أحللت، ولا تنطق ألسنتنا إلا بما مثلت، ولا نتكلف إلا ما يدني من ثوابك، ولا نتعاطى إلا الذي يقي من عقابك. ثم خلص ذلك كله من رئاء المرائين وسمعة المسمعين، لا نشرك فيه أحدا دونك، ولا نبتغي فيه مرادا سواك. اللهم صل على محمد وآله، وقفنا فيه على مواقيت الصلوات الخمس بحدودها التي حددت، وفروضها التي فرضت، ووظائفها التي وظفت، وأوقاتها التي وقت، وأنزلنا فيها منزلة المصيبين لمنازلها، الحافزين لأركانها، المؤدين لها في أوقاتها على ما سناه عبدك ورسولك صلواتك عليه وآله في ركوعها وسجودها وجميع فواضلها على أتم الطهور وأسبغه وأبين الخشوع وأبلغه، ووفقنا فيه لأن نصل أرحامنا بالبر والصلة، وأن نتعاهد جيراننا بالإفضال والعطية، وأن نخلص أموالنا من التبعات، وأن نطهرها بإخراج الزكوات، وأن نراجع من هاجرنا، وأن ننصف من ظلمنا، وأن نسالم من عادانا، حاشا من عودي فيك ولك، فإنه العدو الذي لا نواليه، والحزب الذي لا نصافيه، وأن نتقرب إليك فيه من الأعمال الزاكية بما تطهرنا به من الذنوب وتعصمنا فيه مما نستأنف من العيوب، حتى لا يورد عليك أحد من ملائكتك إلا دون ما نورد من أبواب الطاعة لك وأنواع القربة إليك. اللهم إني أسألك بحق هذا الشهر وبحق من تعبد لك فيه من ابتدائه إلى وقت فنائه من ملك قربته أو نبي أرسلته أو عبد صالح اختصصته أن تصلي على محمد وآله وأهلنا فيه لما وعدت أوليائك من كرامتك، وأوجب لنا فيه ما أوجبت لأهل المبالغة في طاعتك، واجعلنا في نظم من استحق الرفيع الأعلى برحمتك. اللهم صل على محمد وآله وجنبنا الإلحاد في توحيدك والتقصير في تمجيدك والشك في دينك والعمى عن سبيلك والإغفال لحرمتك والانخداع لعدوك الشيطان الرجيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. وإذا كان لك في كل ليلة من ليالي شهرنا هذا رقاب يؤتقها عفوك أو يهبها سفحوك، فاجعل رقابنا من تلك الرقاب، واجعلنا لشهرنا من خير أهل وأصحاب. اللهم صل على محمد وآله وامحق ذنوبنا مع امحاق هلاله، واصلخ عنا تبعاتنا مع انسلاخ أيامه حتى ينقضي عنا. وقد صفيتنا فيه من الخطيئات وأخلصتنا فيه من السيئات. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. وإن ملنا فيه فعدلنا، وإن زغنا فيه فقومنا، وإن اشتمل علينا عدوك الشيطان فاستنقذنا منه. اللهم اشحنه بعبادتنا إياك، وزين أوقاته بطاعتنا لك، وأعنا في نهاره على صيامه، وفي ليله على الصلاة والتضرع إليك والخشوع لك والذلة بين يديك، حتى لا يشهد نهاره علينا بغفلة ولا ليله بتفريط. اللهم واجعلنا في سائر الشهور والأيام كذلك ما عمرتنا، واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون، والذين يؤتون ما آتوا وقلوبهم وجلة أنهم إلى ربهم راجعون. ومن الذين يسارعون في الخيرات وهم لها سابقون. اللهم صل على محمد وآله في كل وقت وكل أوان، وعلى كل حال عدد ما صليت على من صليت عليه، وأضعاف ذلك كله بالأضعاف التي لا يحصيها غيرك، إنك فعال لما تريد.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to you all to our first T4C Ramadan program for this year. So tonight's talk will be given by Shaykh Redha Khaki, entitled "Getting into the Ramadan Groove." If you can please welcome him with the salawat. If you can please also come forward, it's a lot of space here, just so you're a bit closer to him. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين أما بعد. So we're getting into the Ramadan groove. I won't ask you to do any moves, at least not any physical ones, but we will have to move. So this talk is basically apologies for all the technical issues. So this is more an introspection. It's not really a lecture as such. I will need there will be a mic floating around. I did have a Slido, but because of the technical issues, we probably won't be able to do that. So I do appreciate if you guys can give your feedback, give your thoughts in the discussion. There's some handouts also which are being passed around. So have a look at those, and this is something that we can reflect on, and I want to learn also. So basically what I want to do is we talk about experiencing how we experience Ramadan, what our feelings are around that, um, how we learn how we can make the most of it. I hopefully manage from this, we can manage stress and expectations, and set some personal goals, at least in whatever capacity we can. So it's working. Okay, so you can join in on slido.com hashtag Ramadan. If it works, it works. If not, pick up the mic and give me some feedback. So we have plenty of verses in the Quran, in Ahadith, that talk about reflection, the importance of reflection. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض. That those people talking about these individuals who are remembering God and they are reflecting on the creation of the heavens and the earth. And they reach a conclusion, ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك, that you haven't created this in vain. And plenty of other verses that we have created spouses for you, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. These are signs for those people who ponder, who reflect, right? There are many ahadith that talk about the importance of reflection. There are many ahadith that talk about not only stopping at reflection, reflection is taking us somewhere. So the narrations of the Prophet that Allah has created everything in ihsan, in perfection, that we strive towards that. And that can only be got by us reflecting. Now, many of us have heard the benefits of reflection, from the religious perspective. But really, the question that comes to us many a time is how to reflect. It's sometimes a very difficult thing to do, sometimes a very painful thing to do. So, hopefully, we can go through this and reflect. And you have some handouts before you, give some sort of guidance on this process. So, how to reflect? So, first of all, identify what you are feeling. So, if I'm feeling, let's say, with relation to Ramadan, and we're going to focus and hone in on Ramadan, how we're feeling about Ramadan, which is going to be the next question, which I'll ask you all to input. What is the feeling? Identify the feeling. What am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling excited? What is it that I'm feeling? And then, as we go on, we determine what is the trigger. Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? Why am I feeling anxious? Why is it that it's causing me to feel in a certain way? Is it because of the large amount of a'mal, for example, or lots of recommendations and I don't know where to start? So this is determining the trigger. And then reflect on the intensity. Of course, this is a guide. There are many ways to do this. This is just one way of doing it. And everyone has their own way, whatever works for you. But this is just a rough guide. How intense is that? Am I very anxious? Am I very confused? Identify that and think about it. And then analyze what impact it has, right? What effect it has. So is that going to deter me from doing other things, my wajibat, because I'm concentrating on the mustahabat, for example? That's just an example. And then consider how you could respond to it, right? So this is where then you can take action and reflect and learn from that. So, how do you feel about Ramadan being here? So, I don't think the sliders try. You can try, but I don't think it's going to work. No, but it's not coming up here. That's my phone. Okay, I may be able to get something here. If anyone wants to use the mic, please feel free. Is it working? It is, yeah. Okay, so you got someone super excited. Excellent. I'm not excited, unsure, tentative. Okay, it's not coming up there, but I can see it on here. So anyone want to input on how they're feeling about Ramadan being here, and explore that, maybe share, and we can learn from each other, and others can input into this.
So I think I'll start if that's okay. So I think one thing every Ramadan, one thought I always have that is, this Ramadan going to be better than the last? Will I be able to make the most of the opportunity? And I think that's always a bit of a concern, I think.
Able to do it better than last year.
The opportunity. So I think now probably differently to the past. I think what you mentioned earlier, uh, the pressure of, okay, reciting so much Quran, reciting certain du'as. There are so many du'as, like exactly like you said, so many prescriptions, and getting through them all. So I think in the past that was more the concern. Obviously, we try and change that mindset and concentrate on quality rather than quantity, but it's still always there at the back of the mind, I think.
So I would say I always feel excited when Ramadan comes, the buzz of it, and, change your whole routine and meeting people, having iftar together and everything. And then I usually set some goals in the beginning and think, okay, this Ramadan, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And I think that sometimes in the excitement, I set myself too many goals or too difficult ones. And with time, like let's say after the first week or so, as the tiredness builds up and that buzz that you had is like going down a bit, then you find yourself, well, I find myself at a place where I feel I can't keep up with everything I set myself to do. Maybe because I put too much pressure on myself, or maybe because I don't know. And then sometimes I can feel a bit disheartened and thinking, why could I do it for 1 week and now I can't carry it for the whole month? Um, and then the more disheartened you become, I feel that sometimes you end up giving up, especially as you go further down in Ramadan and thinking, maybe I'll try harder next Ramadan. And then you think, well, maybe I'm not going to be here next Ramadan. So,
Yeah. Anyone else wants to contribute anything? So everyone, it's the first night, so everyone here on the results is. There are some people who are worried, unsure, but there's quite a few people who are super excited that the month is here. So this is the whole purpose of this is just to explore how we feel about this month, and really go into ourselves. Um, so I was sitting and thinking about this. It's sometimes um, I try and avoid addressing these things. I just go into it straight without any plan. So this is to just make us think and make us realize. So at the core, and this is a verse related to fasting in travel and even in for those who are sick. Allah says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah desires ease for you, He doesn't desire difficulty for you. And that's at the core of all of this. So many a time we tend, and in fact in other verses, so the Prophet is coming to society, and initially what happened was, the rule was such that if somebody sleeps or prays Isha, then they can't eat, drink, or have any relation with their spouse. So people used to violate that. Alim Allah, as the Quran says in another verse, Alim Allahu annakum kuntum takhtanuna anfusakum fataba alaykum wa afa ankum. that Allah knew that you are deceiving yourself. So He forgave you, He overlooked it, He changed it a bit, He made it a bit easier. At the core of all of this, and sometimes we get bogged down in, and again, it's a personal journey. We get bogged down in certain actions without recognizing what the fast is all about, what the action is all about. As the Quran mentions, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting was prescribed to bring about that God consciousness. Now, there were some societies, some communities at the time of the Prophet who would take fasting to an extreme. They would fast at night also. Allah is saying in this verse, with relation to those who are traveling or are sick, take it easy. You know yourself better. It's not deceiving yourself, but we need to be aware of ourselves. You know, when we have, when the athletes that are training, um, they are aware of themselves. They've taken full ownership of their training. Similarly, in our own actions, without deceiving ourselves, we need to be fully aware of our actions and not, of course, not go to the extreme of causing difficulty to ourselves. So anyway, another discussion I'd like to have is going straight into it. What one challenge that you face during Ramadan? And all of our challenges are different. Hopefully, we can have a conversation on that. What is the one challenge that you face during Ramadan? Sincerity of actions, caffeine, nicotine, lack of sleep, sleep, sabr with kids, homework done in time to leave for school, for mosque rather, kids, lack of energy, frustration. So this is basically for us to actually recognize and realize what is the challenge, because sometimes we go through it without even recognizing. If anyone wants to elaborate, feel free. The mic is here. How is it that you deal with this challenge? Eating healthy, identifying the journey for oneself, where I am and where I'm going, sticking to resolutions, getting rid of cultural baggage is another one. I get no sleep and fasting. Um, yeah, so this seems to be something that we all, quite a few of us are facing. It broadly categorized into sleep, food, efficiency, or productivity. Not doing enough ibadah is another one. Living here, everything carries on. We have to make changes. Not sticking to resolutions. So these are the challenges that we are facing. How can we, and I'd like your input on this, how can we um, deal with these challenges? Anyone?
But has been really reducing.
Really what?
Helped.
Yeah. It boils down to that, the verse. So again, what happens is we tend to focus on finishing or reading the Arabic. So again, it's about quality, and there's a lot of good stuff done here with regard to Quran journaling and Quran reflection, particularly nowadays. So I know there is a book that's released recently on this Quran journaling, and again, it boils down to these small amounts. It's not about a lot. It's not the amount of recitation. Just pick one verse, reflect on it, ponder on it, think about it. It's very simple. We'll end with later on. There's the person who compiled the Quran is asked, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, how did you receive Ramadan? How did you prepare for Ramadan? We'll come to that narration in a bit. But really, and again, boils down to Laylatul Qadr, the same thing. We have, and I will, if you want to, please feel free to do so, to interact with this poll. But again, brings about Laylatul Qadr. The same thing happens. What happens is there's a lot of a'mal. We want to go through it. We want to skim through it. We feel, I have felt, my experience previous Laylatul Qadr has been very anxious. I want to finish. It's like the peak of the month of Ramadan. I want to do a lot. If I can't do a lot, I feel guilty, and that perpetuates a cycle. So it's very much about being at ease, doing something very in good quality as opposed to quantity. So yeah, again, this is something I'm seeing the answers coming: robotic at time, tedious, lonely, and unfulfilling. This is something for us to reflect on. How can we make the most of Laylatul Qadr? Is it about doing all these a'mal? Is it about reflecting, thinking, taking some time, even if you want to take a few minutes and think about something? But how can it perpetuate good? How can it make us better individuals? How can it make us better family members, fathers, mothers, contributors to society? I won't take too much time, but food, we need another session on this. Yeah, we need a nutritionist to come and tell us about food, because food is really important. Our relationship with food, what types of food we have, and we notice that certain types of food slow us down. Certain types of food affect our fast. Certain types of food affect our fasts positively, certain negatively. So again, this needs a good discussion on it. I'm not a nutritionist, but somebody who can talk to us on how to optimally eat something that will help us in our fast. But with regard to our mindset, how is our mindset with regard to food? Is our concern always during the day what we're going to eat? And even after we finish the fast, is our concern always what we're going to eat for Sahri, so that we can... So our concern has now focused on what? On food, as opposed to the whole purpose of fasting is to rid us of that, right? So this is something that we need to reflect on. What is our relationship? What is my relationship with? Am I overly concerned? Doesn't mean you can't enjoy good food, but is it concerning me to a level that I can't think of anything else? Again, these are points of reflection. Planning and goal setting. And I want to I'll go through this quickly. There's certain steps within this. And I've in the handouts, we have, I've put some examples of certain goals that you can set. So it's SMART objectives, something very specific, measurable, actionable, etc. And it's really important for us to have clarity. As Zinat was saying, sometimes I have felt going into the month, I want to do a lot. But I've not even honed in on one thing that I want to do properly. Let's say, for example, I want to recite Quran every day, a page every day. So I'm going to specifically measurable in a time-bound way, say that I'm going to recite Quran every day after Dhuhr, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, and that's used a couple of techniques that enables me to actually follow through with that. But goal setting, there needs to be consistent. The most beloved, as the hadith of the Prophet, most beloved deed to Allah is the most regular and constant, even if it were little. Consistency is very important. Um, Intention, we have a plentitude of narrations on intention. Innamal a'malu bin niyat, that actions are by their intentions. And intention, once you make an intention, you stick by it, right? And I notice myself when fasting a mustahab fast, I haven't taken full ownership of that fast. I still have, I can break the fast, I will break the fast. I'm a bit tired. I haven't made that full intention, right? Whereas here, I've made a full intention. Likewise, in our habits, once we make an intention, we make a commitment, we keep our word, and our word is to ourselves. We stick to that. There's a lot to unpack here. I'll go through, again, gradual change, do things slowly, accountability. We have the narration that mentions man lam yuhasib nafsahu, whoever doesn't hold himself to account, he isn't from us, the narrations of the Imam. So how do we keep ourselves accountable? How do we improve? How can we, different ways of doing this. One could be journaling. I write every day, my day, what I've achieved. In this paper, we have also a template of a journal for Ramadan. You can use that, you can tweak it, and hold yourself accountable. Again, boils down to what Hasnain is saying, or said rather. Take it easy with yourself. If you miss a few goals, it's fine. Build upon it. Habit stacking, again, we have precedent within the hadith also. When we link an action to another action, the probability of us following through is higher. So let's say I want to do something in Ramadan. I want to meditate, for example. Now I stack that with another habit that I'm going to do regularly. I'm going to pray Maghrib, for example. I'm going to pray Isha. And for 5 minutes, I'm stacking this new habit that I want to form with another habit, right? So all these are tools that we can utilize. So I'll end with this. What is the one thing that you want to achieve this Ramadan? And we can end with a lovely narration from a prophetic narration. So again, you don't have to answer this now if you don't want to. Something to think about. This is a journey for us. It's just an introduction to the month of Ramadan, to make us reflect, to make us think about things, how we can better ourselves as human beings. Complete all the fast, tranquility, get a closer relationship with the Quran, focus, being more patient with people. Again, this is one thing we want to achieve, but try and utilize the techniques we have on the paper, make it very specific. I want to keep new habits. Which habit do you want to keep? How are you going to measure it? How are you going to set it as a time bound? So consistency in small goals. I'll end with one narration, and this is found in Sunni books, but it's a very nice one. Before that, it's not a sprint, so as Zinat was saying, sometimes we tend to focus all our energy at the start and then burn out at the end. It's a gradual pacing through it. But Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who is a compiler of the Quran, so he's very familiar with the Quran. He's approached by other companions, and he's asked, how did you, كيف استقبلت Ramadan? How did you welcome the month of Ramadan? And he answers that we never dared to have any grudge within our heart when we entered the month of Ramadan. So that's all. This is a person who is very familiar with the Quran, who's compiled the Quran. Some narrations mention that if you want to hear the Quran clear as it was revealed, go to Abdullah bin Mas'ud. So what does he say? He says, we never used to dare, these are the companions of the Prophet, to enter the month of Ramadan with any grudge against anyone else. So if we are entering this month and we have something against someone else, This is something, this is a time we need to address it. We need to make amends. We need to resolve that. You know, we have the mercy of Allah flowing in this month, but the mercy of Allah is only limited to how much capacity we have. So the more forgiving we are, the more loving we are, the wider the capacity. And hence, we're more of a receptacle. So I'll end here. I think we're over time. So no questions. 5 minutes, okay. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Ali Raza. Ramzan Mubarak to all of you, first of all. Tomorrow's program, Thursday, 23rd of March. No, that's today, isn't it? Tomorrow's Friday. Sorry. So I'm going to start again. So tomorrow, Friday, 24th of March, that's the first fast, you can tell. We're going to start with Maghrib Salat at 6:38, followed by Iftar. And at 7:45, we'll have Quran and a portion of Dua Abu Hamza Tomali, followed by the talk Spirituality Before Islam in the Quran by Siddiq and Sajjad Najafi, and we'll end with Isha Salat. And tomorrow as well, we'll have a parallel program for the children, Time for Learning, from 8:45 till 9:45. Our Ramzan fund is now open, so any donations towards our program will be greatly appreciated. Your donations will go toward iftar, hiring the venue, the hajjat for the speakers, and as you know, we have this new initiative this year of Time for Learning for children. So any donations would be greatly appreciated. You can also sponsor an iftar, either fully or partially. We're estimating the cost to be between £400 to £600 per iftar, depending on the days. All your donations can be done by cash, card, PayPal, or bank transfer. We have some lasagna left that we've packed in containers outside. So on your way out, if you want to take some and just any donations, there's a box there. That would be great. And the children should be back from the sessions. They'll be brought outside the chapel, so you can just collect them from there. You can ask